So, having moved from California to Massachusetts when I was a teen, I had to deal with the reality most of the world faces seasons. Especially since I arrived in Massachusetts during a particularly bad snowstorm. Adjusting to the weather change was pretty crazy to say the least. Even in normal times, it's still pretty crazy how it can go from 90 degrees in the summer to 10 degrees in the winter. But I'm a human, and we humans know how to deal with dramatic temperature changes, like the glacial growth of the Ice Age, and hopefully the current climate crisis we will be dealing with because we were too lazy to fix it and now it's too late. Now, I could talk about how one of the Ice Age periods left humanity nearly extinct, and how that inevitably shaped our culture, but this isn't Geoanthro, it's Geopol, so we'll need a time when there were actually nations around. Well, one of the most radical temperature changes humanity has had to endure was the Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age was a period from around 1300 to 1800 that saw the Earth's temperature cool and glaciers expand. Despite this affecting the whole planet, the region that was most impacted was Europe. The Little Ice Age, for reasons still unclear to this day, made Europe a colder and drier place than it once was and is today, drastically affecting crop harvest on an already very populated region. This period peaked at a time when Europe was finally starting to recover from the Black Plague, keeping Europe still ravaged by death. Many people believe that the decline of Europe started immediately after the fall of Rome, but successful dynasties like Charlemagne's and new inventions in agriculture had actually made the quality of life for your average peasant about the same as in the late Roman Empire, and in a dark twist of irony, the decreasing population from the Black Death actually made the value of peasant labor go up. Couple this with the medieval warm period, which caused food production to rise, and for a time the peasants could actually bargain with their lords for higher wages. However, the Little Ice Age eliminated this by causing crop failure, and thus the peasant labor was no longer valuable. Another thing you can thank the Little Ice Age for is the rise of witch hunts. People had to blame something for causing crop failure, so when Europe was tired of blaming Jews and themselves, they turned to women. Originally, the Catholic Church had held that demonic magic could not possibly be strong enough to alter the climate. But with the rise of Protestantism and the increasing cold, people started linking witchcraft to bad weather, and whereas witchcraft used to be a minor crime, it increasingly turned into a full-on purge of anyone deemed treacherous by town leaders who were searching for answers for their peril. Now that we've focused on culture, let's focus on the greatest geopolitical shift that occurred as a result of the Little Ice Age. In the beginning of the Middle Ages, the Nordic countries were actually doing great, as the region was actually experiencing a warm period. This caused Scandinavia to boom in agriculture, and thus population. However, Scandinavia is still mountainous, and farming land was still scarce, so with most of Europe ravaged by the collapse of Rome and the Islamic invasions, the Scandinavians were able to conquer much of the land, either setting up permanent settlements, such as in England, and even far away as Sicily and Russia, are conducting raids on the shores of pretty much all of Europe. Now, there was one colony in particular that pushed the Vikings towards a brand new continent, Iceland. This colony became the springboard for the Norse's next colony, Greenland. However, Greenland was not suited for agriculture, so the Norse kept pushing west, and it was then that the Norse discovered modern-day Newfoundland, an area that was definitely suitable for agriculture. So much so that the Vikings called it Vinland, for the vines of its bountiful grapes. However, as soon as the Little Ice Age started, the Norse lost their North American colonies, and Iceland was barely able to hold on. The Norse also suffered back home from more than just crop failures, with the Baltic seaports freezing over, cutting off the Nordic Rus colony from Western Europe. Basically, the Little Ice Age halted the would-be colonial ambitions of Nordic countries, and instead shifted this destiny to Western Europe. Even the downsides of the Little Ice Age ultimately furthered this, as by the peak of the Little Ice Age during the 1600s, Europe had established several colonies, and with hordes of starving peasants looking for greener pastures, they would settle down in the colonies in droves, helping to cement the Western European dominance over much of the world. Now, the Little Ice Age wasn't even a true ice age, yet this slight drop in temperature changed the future of an entire continent. So imagine what a sudden dramatic uptick in temperature is gonna do. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked that video, remember to subscribe and leave a like. Thanks.